Hello and welcome to the season finale recap of The Idol. This show was supposed to be 6 episodes long, but they've cut it down to 5, likely to put it out of its misery. It feels kind of sudden, but yeah, I guess the whole experience of watching it all these weeks has been really weird, so oh well. In episode 5, the final episode of season 1 of The Idol, Joss is singing, she's recording, and Tedros is not in the room, surprisingly. She actually sounds kind of decent here. Anyway, Tedros is drinking somewhere else in the mansion, and his cult hanger-ons are nowhere to be found. Remember, Joss kind of pushed Tedros to the side last week to have sex with her ex Rob, who by the way looked so familiar because he's Zoe Kravitz's real-life ex-husband. He was really hot, by the way. Anyway, Tedros comes into this recording space and Xander and Leah are sitting there. They're still in the inner circle. They're kind of happy again. Tedros offers some comments about the song and Joss says that he should leave because he's served his purpose. He's like, you want your only inspiration to leave? He's unraveling, not handling being stripped of what little power he thought he had. He's also seemingly been on a whiskey and coke bender for a couple of days, so he looks pretty gross and sweaty. Joss calls him a con man, and Chloe admits, after Joss asks her, that Tedros had been manifesting a way into Joss's life for years. Joss goes and gives the song to Nikki at the recording studio, and she loves it. The tour manager Live Nation guy says that he does have some concerns about the tour, so she has a meeting with him later. Leia also says that there's something really important that she wants to talk to Joss about, but we don't get to find out what that is because Joss is kind of rushing all about to get ready for this meeting. Joss goes to the hangers-on then, yes, they're still in the house, and she tells them that she wants some of them to be her opening act, so they need to put on the greatest show of their lives in order to convince the Live Nation guy to let the tour go through. Tedros complains that she's just swooping in and taking his people, and she shuts him down then, saying that they're her people now, and she's the one that can make them stars, not him. His opinions aren't needed. When Joss leaves the room, Tedros calls Xander over and asks her, you're not just going to let her walk all over you, are you? And he says to Xander to make sure that he gets a spot on the tour. Joss quite aggressively brushes her hair and she ignores a call from Rob. Her management finally come to the house and I don't know where she is, but Tedros steps in and he makes a really bad impression. The cult girls are all in their underwear because Tedros was like, you're going to have to S some D if that's what it takes to impress these people. So one of the girls crawls onto the tour manager guy's lap pretty much and says that they should meet upstairs later. This is too much of an amateur hour operation for the tour manager guy, so even when they bring out Chloe, who's super talented, who Chaim and Destiny both like, tour manager guy is kind of over it and he says he feels his bank account draining. Then, Rob is on the phone with Leia outside, and Leia's panicking because Xander's plan from last week with the photo, it's happening. So the girl in the photo with Xander went to the press and she said that Rob sexually assaulted her. This is obviously a false allegation. Rob tells Leia that he just met that girl at the bottom of the stairs when he was leaving the house and that Xander was the one who asked for a photo. He needs Joss to clear this up. Rob is some kind of superhero Marvel type actor on the cusp of major stardom, or he already is really famous. So this false accusation could really derail things for him. He also has a movie coming out at this point. Leia tries to get Xander to go outside to talk about this, but Xander rudely brushes Leia off. So the rest of Tedros' cult starts singing, and the management, while not interested at first, they kind of start licking their chops because these kids are all talented and they're unsigned, so there's so much untapped talent and potential here, and obviously money to be made. The news comes in then about Rob, and Nikki reads it out, that Rob is going to be digitally replaced in the movie that he was in because of these allegations. Nobody wants to associate with him. Joss doesn't believe a word of this and she's on to Tedros. She thinks that he somehow did something because he's petty and jealous, and she tells him to get out. Of course this sleazy show would have a storyline about a woman making a false allegation. Of course. And this is not resolved by the end of the episode. Xander, the snake, then asks if he can sing, and he puts on a great show. Tour manager and everybody else is super into it. Joss asks Chaim to pay Tedros whatever he wants to get him out of her house. He's escorted out as Joss puts on a really good performance. Well, the song is awful, but she sings and performs it all well. Anyway, the tour is back on. Chaim gives Tedros a check for $500,000, but Tedros tears it up and he says that Joss is worth more than that. It's more that he wants to convince Chaim that Joss means a lot more to him. than a check, and that he can't be bought. Nikki tells Diane that there's a legal issue with the song and they have to put the single on hold for now. So the songs all sound the same on the show to me, and I can't tell if this is the song that Joss reclaimed. Either way, the record label says that they're really supportive of Diane and they love her and they want to make her a star, but she's on ice for now. As Diane is leaving, she asks, "It was Jocelyn, wasn't it?" But Nikki doesn't say anything. Leia packs her things and she leaves a note for Joss. Cain goes to the writer of the Vanity Fair article and he says that he has something more for her. We're gonna find out in a bit what. We skip to 6 weeks later then. Things leading up to the 6-week mark have been great. Joss has dropped 3 hit singles and the tour is sold out. Management are patting themselves on the back as they're discussing how they pretty much destroyed Tedros. He's since lost his club because of the story in Vanity Fair about his shady criminal past. They do admit that he does have good taste in music though, and just look at all the artists that he gave them. Nikki says with a satisfied smile that they ruined him and they have a laugh. Tedros comes to the tour and he asks the entrance if Joss left a pass for him. She did. He's inside the arena then looking for Joss, but he ends up getting an audience with Destiny. She tells him that if he hurts Joss, she will hunt him down and kill him. So Tedros doesn't do a lot of acting in this scene because he's more subdued and he's kind of shed that over-the-top Tedros character. But had The Weeknd kind of been like this all along and not done the most with the Tedros character, had his cultiness and his abuse been a bit more subtle, it might have not been a complete disaster. It will still have been bad because The Weeknd is not a very good actor, just not that level. He's definitely the weakest link on the show. He's even worse than the cult hangers-on. Joss comes out and she and Tedros tell each other how much they missed each other, and Joss says that she doesn't want to be apart. In her dressing room, he picks up the hairbrush and he asks, "Isn't this the hairbrush that you said your mother hit you with?" She says yes. And then he says, "But it's brand new." And she gives a kind of knowing smirk and he catches on. So I'm guessing she didn't lie about the abuse, right? Because Xander knew about it? Or maybe she exaggerated the abuse. I don't know. They don't really clear that up. But it seems as though they're implying that she allowed herself to be hurt by Tedros in order to get good music, to be inspired. And she was in the know all along. I mean, we know that when she found out that Tedros told Diane to bring her to the club, she turned cold on him. So I guess this was just a coincidence that she found out. She was going to drop Tedros regardless because she was done pretending to submit to him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe it. I mean, we saw glimpses of Joss standing up to him and there were moments where it looked like she saw through him. But I don't know. Is this Joss mastermind really the character that they wrote? I don't see it. I don't feel it. It made more sense for her to come to her senses and push him out. But that she's been in control this entire time, I don't know. This twist strains credulity even on this show. Anyway, at the end, Joss goes out on stage and before she sings, she introduces her audience to the love of her life, Tedros, the man who pulled her through her darkest moments. They have a makeout session on stage and then she whispers to him, "You're mine forever. Now go stand over there." And yeah, he goes and stands over there. He's going to be a kept man now, I guess. And that is the final episode of The Idol. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of think pieces about this. So yeah, I'm going to leave it to them. Anyway, if you have seen it, feel free to share your thoughts and thank you for watching.